That was actor and Uvalde native Matthew McConaughey making an emotional plea at the White House yesterday, urging for change to the nation's gun laws. The House Oversight Committee holding a hearing on guns today as the House is expected to vote on legislation later on. Joining me right now is Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan. He is the ranking member of the Judiciary Committee and a member of the Oversight Committee. He's also author of the book, Do What You Said You Would Do, Fighting for Freedom in the Swamp. Congressman, it's great to see you. Thanks so much for being here.
You bet. You bet. Good to be with you, Maria.
So what are we expecting? What are you expecting from the hearing today? And what is the likelihood of gun legislation?
Well, I think the Democrats are going to be able to pass some things in the House, but what they're trying to do is just total attack, total repeal of the Second Amendment. I mean, Joe Biden said a couple weeks ago that, we want to get rid of 9mm. He wants to get rid of 9mm handguns. That's the most common handgun in the country. Michael Moore said it's time to repeal the Second Amendment. During our markup in Judiciary last week on one of the bills that'll be on the floor today, the Democrats Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee said, we're not finished yet. We're going to do more after this bill. And Mondaire Jones says if this bill doesn't pass, if we can't limit guns across America and attack the Second Amendment, he says we're going to get rid of the filibuster, expand the Supreme Court, do whatever it takes. So this is a direct effort to destroy the Second Amendment, and that's what we got to understand. Mr. McConaughey's, I think, remarks yesterday were a lot of good things he said about mental health, about securing schools, about traditional values. But when it comes to infringing on the rights of law-abiding citizens and infringing on Second Amendment liberties of law-abiding Americans, that's something we should not do, and I am totally opposed to that, as I think most Americans are.
Well, Congressman, I want to ask you about the FBI, because I saw your appearance last night on Fox, and it was just stunning. You sent a letter to the director of the FBI, Christopher Wray, on Tuesday on these new allegations. Tell me what's going on where multiple former FBI officials are coming forward with information suggesting that the FBI is purging conservatives. Tell me what you have found out.
Decorated Iraqi war veteran comes to us as a whistleblower, talks about that the FBI is now trying to end his employment there, going after his security clearance, which is always the first step in trying to fire someone from the FBI. So decorated war veteran questioning his allegiance to the country simply because he said something about the January 6th investigation. We had another whistleblower on this same issue come forward and say he filled out an anonymous questionnaire and was critical of some things about January 6th, that the FBI said some things they didn't like. He's facing the same treatment. So this is frightening, particularly when you view it in context. We've now had half a dozen FBI members come forward as whistleblowers, 2 on the school boards issue, which I know we've talked a lot about.
That's right.
And four relative to January 6th. Two of the guys, a month ago, we sent a letter, 2 individuals who attended the January 6th rally on their off day, exercising their First Amendment liberties with their spouse, are now facing disciplinary action, have had their security clearance revoked. This is frightening where they want to go, or where they are going. And like I said, we've now had a half a dozen whistleblowers come forward on a couple different issues.
Well, I mean, this is really discouraging and upsetting to see how politicized the FBI has become. Last week, we saw what went on in a D.C. courtroom when Michael Sussman was acquitted, and John Durham's whole idea was to just blame it on the Perkins Coie firm, and of course, make it look like the FBI was not involved in pushing the Russia collusion lie. I mean, what has happened to the FBI that Americans can't trust them?
Well, I think you raise a good point. Look at it in a broader context. We know the FBI spied on Trump's campaign. We know the Justice Department is treating moms and dads, parents who show up at school board meeting as domestic terrorists. We had the issue last month with 2 FBI agents who went to the January 6th rally, did nothing wrong, haven't been charged, didn't go into the Capitol, and yet they've lost their security clearance. And now we have this issue with 2 agents who said something contrary to what the FBI thought should be said about January 6th, and they're facing disciplinary action. So that's the broader context. And then we've also also learned that Perkins Coie, the law firm that Mr. Zussman worked at, the Clinton law firm, the election lawyer for the Clinton campaign, Michael Zussman, they maintained a secure work environment, sort of like a SCIF at their actual firm, and they've had it there for 10 years, and we have questions about that as well.
Yeah.
So that's the overall context, and that's why we continue to send letters to the Justice Department, to Mr. Wray, to get some answers to these important questions.
Yeah, I mean, what else can you do other than send a letter? You're right. I mean, Michael Sussman had a badge to get into the FBI. He said, oh, do you have a badge? Can you get into the building? Oh, yeah, I have my badge. I mean, all of this on top of all of the other issues, can it get any worse? We got another record high for gasoline prices this morning. National average for a gallon, $4.95. Fox's Peter Doocy pressed the White House on rising inflation yesterday. Listen to this. I want to get your reaction.
61% are saying now in this Wall Street Journal poll they are generally pessimistic about people having an opportunity to achieve the American dream. How's that going to look on a bumper sticker?
I guess what I'm trying to say, Peter, is that we understand that people are feeling this. They are feeling the increase of prices. What I'm trying to say to you is that the economy is in a better place than it has been historically.
That's just not true. The economy is not in a better place than it's been historically. I mean, look at the 80s. Look at the 2000 dot-com boom. To say that is just obviously unaware of the facts.
Yeah, and the American people have figured it out. There's a reason why more than 7 out of 10 of our fellow citizens think the country's on the wrong track. It's because it is under the Biden administration. The greatest country in the world is now more than 75% of our fellow citizens think we're headed in the wrong direction because of all the bad policies they've done. And for Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary, to say last week, oh, this inflation problem surprised us. Are you kidding me? When you spend like crazy, when you pay people not to work, and when you drive up the cost of energy, you have to know that you're going to have inflation, and that's exactly where we're at. And frankly, I think it certainly feels higher to the folks I get the privilege of representing. It certainly feels higher than the 8% that they're telling us is the CPI. So particularly gas prices are $5 a gallon now in the state of Ohio. Yeah, it is just so bad, and it's driven by the crazy policies. And here's the scary part. This is intentional. And even if Joe Biden wanted to fix it, the hard left that controls his party will not allow him to do it because they are so driven by this climate change agenda that they don't care what it means to working class, middle class families across the heartland of this country.
Well, that's right. And yesterday we heard that same sentiment from Michigan Senator Debbie Stabenow. She's bragging that she didn't have to worry about gasoline prices right now because she's got an electric vehicle. Watch this.
I do have to say, just on the issue of gas prices, after waiting for a long time to finally get my electric vehicle, I got it and drove it from Michigan to here this last weekend and went by every single gas station. It didn't matter how high it was.
It doesn't matter how high it is, Congressman.
No, the left is so out of touch with the people who across this country who can't Zoom work, who can't remote work, who have to actually show up. The folks that I get the privilege of representing in West Central and North Central Ohio who make things, grow things, and move things. You have to show up and work, and you do that in trucks and pickup trucks and vans. The manufacturer, the construction worker, the farmer, I mean, they have to work. And this idea that, oh, just if you don't like $5 gas, as Secretary Buttigieg said, then go buy an EV. Come on, that is just so out of touch with reality, but that's where the hard left is, and that's not where the country is, and I think that's why there's going to be a big change come this November's midterm election.
Yeah, and I think they're understanding that clearer now. Congressman, I'm with Guy Benson today. Go ahead, Guy.
Hey, Congressman, it is Guy Benson. On that exact point, so much frustration among the American people. You talk about the right track, wrong track numbers. All the polling and data suggests it's going to be a really bad November for the Democrats. Okay, let's say that is the case, and your party then controls the House of Representatives, at least. People want some answers. They want some accountability. What would that look like under a House Republican majority when you would still have at least a Democrat in the White House?
No, it'll be tough. You pass the bills that you can pass. Now, understanding that Joe Biden's going to veto them, but you help frame up the 2024 presidential race, which is ultimately how we decide things in American politics. I think President Trump's going to run. I hope he does, and I think he's going to win. But you help frame it up, and then you also do the investigation so the American people get the facts and the truth. Why were there thousands of Americans, for example, thousands of Americans' tax returns made public? What did Dr. Fauci really know when this whole thing started? How about the school board issue and what that means to the Department of Justice? All those investigations need to happen so the country, the American people, we the people, are fully informed about what's happened under Democrat rule, and that helps frame up the 2024 presidential race.
Yeah, Congressman, that's quite the list there. We will be watching. Thanks very much for being here this morning.